Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Right, perfect. What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning into another episode of Race to 100. I'm your co-host, Neil Patang.
Hi, I'm Rick Storcell, and we're on episode number 45.
45. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm enjoying life right now. The weather is warmer.
Yeah.
Got some storms coming through Chicago, though, this past week, so that's been damper, but... So, what's going on?
Well, today, episode 45, we're going to talk about a very interesting documentary that's been on ESPN. It's a five-part documentary, it's 5 parts of the series, and it talks about the life of one of the greatest athletes and criminals in American history, Mr. O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
So, it's pretty tight. I don't know if you've been watching it, Riggs. Reading up on it, following it, everyone in America, regardless of age, who can read something probably knows the story of O.J. Simpson, but...
Called the trial of the century, I believe. And recently it seems like there's been a lot of work done about O.J. Simpson and the whole trial.
Well, it's because I think most people know everything about O.J., like, up to the trial. So everyone knows O.J. from, like, 1994 on. They don't know like much about the guy like prior to the entire trial, the whole like when I was watching it, Rick's like it was very fascinating to me.
The ESPN documentary.
The ESPN documentary.
30 for 30.
Like something I learned about O.J. Simpson I never knew otherwise was how he was able to win over white America during the civil rights movement. Like,
really?
That is big. You know he was a spokesperson for Hertz Rental Car. Did you know that?
I did not.
He was very, very, very successful, and it was crazy because this happened during the 1970s, and the CEO and marketing person of Hertz were going back and forth. They're saying, how do we sell this product? Well, you sell the convenience of renting a car, the timeliness of it, the speed of it, and how convenient it is. How do we sell convenience? We use someone who's fast. Well, who's somebody who's fast? And they used O.J. Simpson. And they talk about how he was able to win over white America during the civil rights movement because he was apolitical. Okay. He was very hands-off when it came to black and white issues. He wasn't digging in the dirt, mixing around with all of the civil rights mess that other athletes at the time were. Your Muhammad Ali's, your Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's, your Jim Brown's. And that's how he was able to build a foundation for success for many decades.
Was he perceived as an Uncle Tom in any way? By the black
ESPN doesn't make it out to be like that.
Yeah.
They don't make it out to be like that. Because again,
So he was beloved across the spectrum.
Exactly. He was one of those guys who, what they say, transcends race or blackness. Meaning, when you see this guy, you don't think, oh, that's a brother who plays a sport and is succeeding. You think, oh, that's a guy who's succeeding in playing a sport who happens to be black. Guys like Michael Jordan and Will Smith do this. You know, which is why they've been very, very successful. However, if you examine the correlation between the amount of success they had and their stances towards civil rights issues, it's kind of might have something to do with that, and that's what people suggest. They're as successful as they are because they're hands off when it comes to civil rights issues.
Now, I heard that there was another component to this story, article that I had read. I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I just, in preliminary readings of what this series is about, it also includes a large component of Nicole Brown and her story. And I don't know, have you watched both?
Okay.
So at this point in time, third one's airing. Going to continue to air.
Yeah.
And talking about the relationship that he had with women, particularly this woman, that was not as great as it perhaps could have been.
I mean, again, they make it seem like he was a successful brother, because that's the picture they paint. I mean, they paint this picture of her as this very sweet, angelic, loving, bashful soul, and he was just this vibrant, charismatic, good-looking, full of swagger dude, and he was rich and successful. She was a cocktail waitress. He took her out of that life and brought her into his, and
then threatened to kill her.
And they had an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
They had a very abusive relationship. But OJ was, I mean, the guy was a womanizer. He was married to a black woman before he married Nicole Brown Simpson.
I did not know that.
And I mean,
Okay.
he was just not the best guy because he was so successful. He was very controlling and full of himself. I mean, the guy was the highest paid player after the NFL merger. The highest paid. You know what I'm saying? At some point, like to give that type of money to a black man, a running back at that, like. You know, so I mean, maybe the guy got ahead of himself and didn't handle things properly.
The reason why I bring that up is because I think that part of the reason why we're doing Race to 100 and the whole purpose of Straight Up as an organization is nuance is important. You know, a lot of times it's so easy to just categorize somebody as good or bad. You know, is their legacy good or bad? And there are things that you can admire about a person, but one also has to take into account the less than pleasant aspects about a person.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge both sides of the coin, because we all have our vices, we all have those things that we are not proud of in ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's a matter of being able to acknowledge that we do good. We can be good people, but at the same time, we're not perfect individuals.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's crazy because like a lot of people like OJ Simpson exemplifies what a running back of football should be, but maybe not necessarily as a person. So if I have a child and my son wants to play running back and he says, "Dad, who should I look at? Who should I look up to?" I'll tell him go check out OJ Simpson, but there's a caveat behind the suggestion I would make to him. You know what I'm saying? A large caveat.
Study his skill as a player.
You know what I'm saying?
Learn from his mistakes, perhaps.
But he's not necessarily the best example to follow in life. But he did his thing on the football field.
Okay.
Man, I mean that boy could play. But but again, I didn't realize how good of a football player he is because again, we were young when that happened.
Yeah.
So all we knew about OJ Simpson was former football player that got away with allegedly killing his wife, and now he's serving jail time for whatever robberies or crimes he committed afterward. But we failed to realize, at least the millennials, how good, influential, and impactful this guy was prior to all these crazy things occurring. And man, you gotta watch that. I know you're a sports fan. You're slacking.
I seriously. I gotta catch up on it. I'm so busy watching stuff
ladies, you guys don't know
watching
Rick's playing
Game of
football
Thrones right
in
now.
college. You know, Rick's was an athlete. It
The
might not
Walking
show
Dead.
right now. You know, but
Dude, there's plenty of other shows.
Dude,
that are...
I'm telling you, you're more of a football player than a Walking Dead type of dude. Check it out. You'll be happy watching it. And you guys should check that out as well. It talks about a lot of the racial issues that were happening in America. It talks about the Rodney King beating and the acquittal of those 4 officers that whooped him crazy. It talks about the LA riots. It's just a very informative and awesome piece for you guys to witness. And you should watch it. Y'all should watch it. I definitely recommend it.
All right.
So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think about the OJ documentary if you've tuned into it yet. We love to hear feedback from you guys. We always appreciate it. That's all I've got for now. Rex, you want to ask them?
We will catch you next time on the Race to 100. Peace.